The sole purpose of this video is to provide a basic overview and orientation of your new apparatus. This video is not intended to act as or replace individualized driver-operator training. Individual fire departments may base guidelines, policies, and procedures tailored for best practices. Pierce Manufacturing and Hughes Fire Equipment representatives are not liable for injuries caused from acts resulting from actions inconsistent with the information provided within this video and/or accompanying manuals. Refer to the Operation and Maintenance Manual for complete details relating to the components and features of this apparatus. Only trained personnel should operate this vehicle or perform maintenance. You are responsible for learning how to operate this fire apparatus under all conditions without having to refer to the manual while operating at an emergency incident. This video will discuss types of warnings and caution labels. It is your responsibility to locate and identify each of the labels and understand the importance and associated hazards. Warning labels will point out procedure that must be taken or action that must be avoided to guard against the possibility of serious injury or death. Caution labels will advise you that there is a risk of damage to property if certain precautions are not followed. Continuous training, reviewing of operation and service manuals, developing good standardized practices will assist driver operators with a more complete understanding of the components and operation of this fire apparatus. As the driver operator of this vehicle, you are responsible for understanding the function of each component of the apparatus, maintaining control of the fire apparatus at all times while in operation. Make operational and functional changes while operating at an emergency without having to read operator's instructions or safety warning labels. Operate manual override and emergency shutdown procedures immediately if a component fails to operate properly. Components location may vary with each Pierce fire apparatus. Review the exact location of each component prior to operation. Major inconsistencies between your vehicle and the information contained in this video should be directed to your sales representative. Safe operation of any vehicle is the responsibility of the driver operator. You must learn the location and function of all controls, switches, gauges, valves, inlets, and discharges. Due to a higher center of gravity, heavy trucks have a significantly higher rollover tendency than other types of vehicles. To reduce the risk of rollover, avoid making sharp turns, excessive speed, and avoid abrupt maneuvers. In the event of a rollover crash, an unbelted person is significantly more likely to become injured or die than a person wearing a seatbelt. In the event of a crash, unbuckled occupants can also become a hazard to other occupants, as they may be thrown around inside the cab. Seatbelts are required while in operation. Please refer to your warranty certificates for details and information enclosed in your manuals. Customer-installed equipment must be mounted to withstand road travel and comply with NFPA 1901. Modifications such as drilling holes or welding to structural frame components of the chassis are not permitted. Contact Pierce for instruction and review of non-structural sheet metal or other dissimilar metals for modification. Follow the radio installation guide for further assistance on installing or mounting electronics. Before placing your new apparatus into service, perform a primary inspection of key components of the apparatus, including all fluid levels, anti-lock braking systems, electronic stability control, and automatic traction control. Weigh your apparatus to ensure that it conforms to axle and brake ratings. Never exceed the gross axle rating printed on the label inside the cab. Exceeding these ratings could lead to reduced component life, personal injury, or death. Review the use of auxiliary braking systems, compression brake, exhaust brake, electronic retarder, and hydraulic retarder. Before placing the apparatus in service, refer to the operational maintenance manuals. Information on the operation and maintenance functions for the components such as the pump, pressure governor, and foam systems, along with other options, is provided in either the Pierce manuals and/or other manufacturer support information delivered with the apparatus. If you need more information, please contact Hughes Fire Equipment. Congratulations, Seattle, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 35244. Please utilize this 5-digit job number when referencing your apparatus with Hughes Fire Equipment and Pierce Manufacturing. We'll get started on a brief orientation of your new apparatus. Starting on the face of the front bumper passenger side, you'll find your mechanical siren. Moving toward the center, you'll find dual air horns. Directly in the center is your winch. Moving to the outside of the frame rail is where you'll find protruding tow hooks on the passenger and driver side frame rail. Moving to the driver side face of the front bumper, you'll find your electronic siren and PA speaker. Moving up onto the top of the bumper extension, you'll find two tubbed storage locations on the passenger and driver side. In the center, D-handle gains you access to your winch. Moving up onto the cab face, on the outer edge, you'll find a turn indicator marker light. Just inside of that location, headlight structure housing low and high beam headlights. Just above the headlight structure, you'll find a red emergency warning light. And then slightly above that, you'll find a grab handle for gaining access for the windshield area. Two windshield wipers across the front windshield. On the outer edge of the mirror, you'll find a flat and convex mirror. On the passenger side, you'll find a convex mirror in the upper portion. Clearance lights across the brow. Two forward-facing floodlights. And as we move up onto the roof, you'll find your emergency warning light bar. Inside the light bar, in the very center area, is where you'll find your forward-facing opticom. Let's go ahead and take a look at some close-ups of those items that we just talked about. First, starting with the front bumper. As we move to the outer storage locations on each side, you'll find additional storage dry deck material inside. As we move toward the center, you'll find your winch. And then moving over to the driver's side, additional storage location. Let's take a look at the entire side of the apparatus with the driver's side, and now let's focus in on the cab area. Let's first start down at the very bottom where you'll find your Alcoa wheels. As we move toward the forward section of the bumper extension, just beneath you'll find a receiver on the passenger and driver side, also a side-facing emergency warning light. As we move up onto the cab face, you'll find a side-facing bullet-style camera. Also, door lock and latch keyed combination. Recessed grab handle for gaining access in and out of the cab. As we move up to the upper portion of the rear section of the cab, you'll find a D-handle gains you access into a storage location. And then as we move just to the body area, you'll find your Shoreline inlet. This is a 30 amp along with an emergency warning light. As we move to the body, you'll find emergency warning lights, side-facing scene lights, Scba bottle storage location. Also in the lower section to the rear of the axle, you'll find storage location for your wheel chocks, and then also a side-facing receiver. Let's move around to the rear of the apparatus. Starting in the lower portion, you'll find emergency stop, reverse, and emergency lights. You'll also find at the upper portion emergency warning lights, and in between the two of those emergency warning lights, a rear-facing scene light. Let's look to the base of the step area where you'll find a winch located in the lower section, and then just underneath at the rear, you'll find additional receiving hitches. Let's move around now to the passenger side of the vehicle in the body area. Same configuration as you have on the driver's side. We'll go ahead and move now to the cab area. Same configuration as we have here. Shoreline inlet, air inlet,
Moving up to the top, you'll find D handle gains access into storage. On the front A pillar, you'll find a side-facing camera. And on the very bottom section, just to the bumper extension area, you'll find that hitch receiver. Let's go ahead and move inside the cab area, starting with the driver's space, where we'll find affixed to the door panel all of our safety and warning placards, door lock and latch combination, and also electric windows. As we move to the base of the pedestal of the seat, you'll find your air shutoff. You'll also find this yellow placard indicating the type of vehicle, date of manufacture, 5-digit job number, gross vehicle weight rating, cold tire inflation, additional information regarding fluid capacities for each component, fluid capacity, and also fluid type. Let's move to the floorboard, where you'll find an air horn and mechanical switch siren. As we move up to about the left knee of the operator, you'll find diagnostic information, your battery switch, and then also brake application gauge. As we move to the opposite side of the steering column, you'll find your inter-axle differential lock with an indicator. As we move to the dash area, on the left-hand side, you'll find a fuel restriction light, which is red. Just beneath that, 4-way flashers, ignition and start. EM switch for emergency master, headlight switch, and a panel switch, which allows you to brighten or dim lights within the operator's preview. To the right, you'll find the OK to engage the high idle indicator and switch. As we move up to the cluster, you'll find transmission, oil, def, and water temp. To the right, you'll find volts, fuel, front and rear air. In the center, you'll find your tachometer and speedometer. Diagnostic information will display above and below the speedometer. Let's move just to the right, where you'll find the yellow diamond pull to apply your system parking brake. You'll also find a 7-inch diagonal command zone, tremendous amount of information right here at your fingertips. You can utilize touchscreen or function keys. As we move to the right, you'll find your air ride suspension dump, diff lock, buzzer, your generator on and off, air tool PTO, load manager. You'll also find your engine brake on and off switch, settings for low, medium, and high, off-road traction, indicator prove out, front wheel lock, and mirror heat. Moving just to the right, you'll find your Allison transmission pad digital readout. Moving further to the right, you'll find your flat and convex mirror controls. Moving forward to this location to the dash area, you'll find your siren control module and PA speaker system. Additional switch panel housing driver and passenger window, 2 spare switches, and then also 12-volt access via USB and also 12-volt barrel style. Climate control for heat, defrost, and also air conditioning. As we move, we do have an intercom system located in the front section, also to the rear, push-to-talk and volume control. Siren control for your mechanical siren. General view as we look overhead from the driver's position. I would like to point out the yellow placard on the left. This is the height of the vehicle, length, and gross vehicle weight rating. Height 11 feet 6.5 inches. Length 36 feet 6 inches. Gross vehicle weight rating 70,000 pounds. It also has the 5-digit job number along with emergency master, high beam flash, the opticom, which is located with inside the light bar, air horn, a siren brake for your mechanical siren, and also momentary opticom switch. Moving further to the right, we have additional switches for driver side flood, front flood, passenger flood, rear flood, perimeter lighting, and cornering scene lights. As we move to the very center section on the roof area, you'll find if this light is illuminating or flashing, do not move your apparatus. You may have a compartment door open or ajar. As we move to the roof area, you'll find push on and off white or red lights. To the rear of the driver's seat, you'll find your Firecom base station wireless system. As we move exterior, behind the driver's seat, you'll find an additional storage location. D-handle gains access into that space. Alcoa wheels, Bridgestone tires. Let's move now to the Shoreline Power, where you'll find an auto eject Shoreline inlet. This is a 30 amp plug along with a LED side-facing warning light. As we move inside to the body section, some specialty equipment within this area and also storage locations. We do have D-handle gaining access in the uppermost portion of this compartment, along with through compartments that slide outward. At the very bottom section, you'll find your battery location for storage. You'll also find 2 breakers located in this area. At the very top section, your radio breaker, and then also battery charger breaker to the rear of that. Let's stay within this same compartment area as we look to additional electronic devices within this area. In the upper top right corner is where you'll find your inverter. Also, you'll find additional Shoreline plugs. When plugged into Shoreline Power, they will become active. Also, the location for your G1, which is your generator breaker box. Also, additional generator on and off switch, along with the frequency, amps, and volts module. In addition, with switches for driver's side flood, passenger side flood, and rear flood. At the very bottom section, you'll find the control module for your power distribution center for your inverter. As we move just down from this location, you'll find an additional breaker box. First, SA1 and S1. These are your Shoreline receptacles. Also, you'll find your air system for your air compressor. Additional light boxes along with LED charging stations for those. Winch control module center for the front winch and also the rear winch. As we move just down from this location, you'll find the control module for your front winch and also rear winch. As we move just under the body section or in the front section of the vehicle, you'll find D-handle gains you access into this large storage tray. And then as we move to the compartment itself, you'll find adjustable shelving and LED lighting, in addition with ventilation in each compartment. As we move just in front of the rear axle, you'll find your service drain valves for all of your air tanks. Additional storage adjustable shelves. As we move just in front of the rear axle, you'll find the fill location for your DEF tank. It is the blue cap along with an Scba bottle storage location with retaining strap. You do have a 4.5 US gallon DEF tank, once again blue cap. As we move to the tandem axles, you'll find Bridgestone tires, Alcoa wheels. In between the 2 axles, you'll find additional storage location. As we move inside this area, you'll find first a receiving hitch for side load. Also additional information here regarding outlets and air supply. Let's move to the rear of the axle where you'll find additional Scba bottle storage location and also the fill location for your ultra low sulfur diesel. Let's move to the rear compartment. Additional shelving, LED lighting. Just underneath you'll find wheel chock storage and then also a receiver hitch. In this compartment in the upper corner on the vertical side sheet, you'll find Shoreline generated outlet 20 amp for 4 outlet plugs. At the base of this compartment, you'll find a pull-out tray. The release mechanism is across the very bottom section. Let's take a look at the entire vehicle with all compartment doors in the open position. Then we'll go ahead and move around to the rear section of the apparatus next. As we move to the rear, let's go ahead and open the compartment doors on the passenger and driver side. You'll find additional storage location. As we move to the driver's side step well, this is where you'll find the switch for your dump valve. It's also a warning placard regarding fall. Always face the vehicle while climbing onto it. As we move up to the very top section or roof just above the door section is where you'll find your backup camera and additional step lights. As we move just under the step in the bottom section, you'll find a winch location. Underneath that winch location, you'll also find additional receiving hitches and your backup alarm. On the right side, you're going to find your rear scene lights. And let's go ahead and move inside the rear space. In the seat area, you'll find a 24-foot extension and a 14-foot roof. You'll also find a buzzer warning, 1 stop, 2 go, 3 backup, along with an audible alarm, a stereo on-off switch, either for your stereo or two-way radio, light control for either clear lights or red lights, and then also your intercom system to the driver's space, push-to-talk, volume control, and an air dump. As we look to the seats, you'll find 12-volt access on each side of those. As we move through the compartments inside, they are adjustable shelving and also netting material for securing the equipment within that area. Scba bottle storage locations for full packs at each seat location. The orange straps are the release mechanisms for a single pull to release the entire netting area. You'll also find a section here, do not step in this area. Underneath it is where you'll find your cooler. As we look inside the cooler, you'll find separated into locations for storage of ice goods. And then also as we move just to the right of that location, you'll find an additional top hatch, which you have steps to go aloft. We do have some additional warning placards in this area regarding fall injury. Always remember, when climbing on something, face that vehicle. We do have some additional warning placards in this area where the seating area is regarding occupancy and also whether you should not wear your helmet while in motion. As we move to the rear door, at the very top section of the door, you'll find this green indicator indicating that it is okay to exit the rear door. Also located in the roof section of the vehicle is where you'll find your emergency hatch for personnel inside the enclosed space. As we move up onto the top of the rescue, you'll find additional hatch storage locations on the passenger side and also additional storage on the driver's side. Also, yellow identifying diamonds that are reflective to indicate the walking surface. As we move to the opposite side, you'll find in the very center area a glass partition. This is that emergency hatch location that you'll gain access to from inside the vehicle. Just wanted to point out this is a glass section here, therefore this is a non-walking surface, and that's why we have these warning placards. As we move more toward the dunnage area, it's where you'll find your Harrison hydraulic generator. There is a sight gauge located on the face and then also a top fill location. Once again, as we move toward the front section of the cab, this is also a non-walking surface because there is no railing. Let's move down from this location now to the passenger side of the vehicle. We'll start from the rear, working our way to the front. We have a pull-out tray and also pull-out board for tool attachment. Moving forward to this location, adjustable shelves and LED lighting. Also within inside this compartment, you'll find Shoreline generated power outlet for 2 plugs. Moving to the exterior, you'll find Scba bottle storage location and a side pull winch receiving location. 10,000 pound maximal allowable winch rating on the side pull. As we move in between the rear tandem axle, you'll find an additional receiver, additional outlet, and air outlet. Moving to the rear, Scba bottle storage and also a rear receiver. Pull-out tray in the lower section. As we move under the front section of the rear axle, it's where you'll find your exhaust. Extremely hot diesel exhaust temperatures do exist. Be cautious where you park your vehicle. As we move to the forward compartment, this will be directly behind the front axle. Additional storage location. Also within inside this compartment, you have the through compartment drawers, and then also your cab tilt device. That's going to be located at the very bottom section for your cab lift. There are instructions for its operation and also some danger information components on this device also. Please ensure all items are secured within the cab area. As we continue to move to the forward, you'll find an additional D-handle gains access at the very bottom section for storage. Auto eject shoreline inlet. This is a 30 amp auto eject. As we move forward, you'll find the location for daily maintenance for transmission and oil. Moving to the upper section of the cab, additional storage directly behind the officer seat. And then as we move to the very front section, let's go ahead and go inside the front section of the cab. First, let's start with the door panel. Affixed to the door panel, safety and warning information placards, door lock and latch, window control, and a grab handle. At the base of the floor, you'll find air horn, electronic siren, and mechanical siren foot pedals. As we move to the dash area, you'll find a light, LED map light, and also a portable spotlight, along with 12-volt DC outlets, barrel style, vehicle data recorder, and then also as we move to the left, an additional 12-volt access. Let's go ahead and look overhead of the officer position. We'll start at the very top section with the switch panel closest to the door, and we'll move to the left or inside. Driver's side flood, front flood, passenger side flood, rear flood, siren brake for your mechanical siren, and also perimeter lights. Just to the left, you'll find your FireCom control head module. Moving further to the left, you'll find your AM, FM, weather band, Sirius XM CD player. Directly behind the seat, you'll find your FireCom wireless base station, push on and off white or red light lenses. Let's go ahead and move to the next section where we'll take a look underneath the vehicle, and we'll see all of the components just on the driver, passenger, front, and rear. Congratulations, Seattle, Washington, on your new Pierce fire apparatus, job number 35244. If you have any questions regarding your apparatus, please contact your Hughes Fire sales representative. As we move out, we do have an additional short video to show your emergency lights and all of your scene lights on. Congratulations.